Moving into our second image, we'll take a look at it from afar, duplicate the layer. This image poses a few different problems. We've got these hands in the background, which we need to remove. We can start by just taking out these lens spots. Again, I'm lining up the healing brush so that it moves in conjunction with that area there. I want to keep our lines straight. Just remove these. And then we're going to do a little bit of a review on the skin, go over some of what we just learned. And then we're going to move into these hands, taking them out, rebuilding the background layer behind that. We'll just start by going through the image, cleaning it up a bit. Just going to quickly take that out, do some of this touch up. And then we're going to move into her. So let's take a look at the image here. Do some of this simple background cleanup. So we can concentrate on the nitty-gritty once we get this stuff out of the way. Because this image is pulled back a little bit more, it's more of a fashion shot as opposed to the close-up image, which is more of a beauty shot. Skin's a little bit softer. It's not going to take quite as much work as the other one. We're going to have to deal with that armpit, these nails here. So we're just looking at it, get an idea of what's going to have to be fixed. And you can get started. Just kind of clean up some of these obvious areas, take out the hairs. Use the healing brush for this. Taking samples pretty close by. We can go back and forth between the dodge and burn and the healing brush and the clone stamp for working on the skin. Skin's a little bit softer, so it shouldn't need as much work as the last image. Just clean it up a little bit. After a while, your eye will get used to seeing these subtle differences. Some of them really stand out, but when you're working with the dodge and burn tool, these minor shifts and tone are going to really jump out at you after a while. You'll just start seeing them where you didn't see them before. I'm going to move my history palette over here so you can see what's going on. I'm just jumping back in between dodging the dark areas and burning in the light areas. Hold down Option or set your buttons to do it for you. So moving back and forth pretty quickly between the two to balance the areas out. Just balance some of these lines out here. The same type of touch-up that we were doing to the other image on the brows. Dodge that area a little bit. So this is a little bit of a review. We're just going over some of these skin techniques. Dodging and burning is really your main tool. You want to hold on to that texture. You'll get faster at it as you go. Skin is really one of those things that once you get the hang of it and you work through it, it's quite enjoyable to work on. And people will really notice. They'll notice the difference between skin that's been over retouched, badly retouched, or retouched in a way that holds on to texture and looks good. It makes a huge difference. You really want to hold on to that texture. So we've got these hairs on the way here. We might want to take some of those hairs out. As we're working, we can kind of look around the area that we're working in and see what stands out to us, what bothers us, what we want to leave in, what we want to take out. I'm just going to remove these hairs. They're bothering me. So we're going to take those out. I think they distract from the one larger piece of hair hanging down. We really want that to be emphasized because that looks nice. Get rid of these distracting hairs. Burning and dodging as we go. You can use the clone stamp to get rid of those lighter hairs in there. You can set it to darken, or you can keep it at normal if you feel like you have more control. Just balancing this area here. It's got some lights and darks that we might want to just neutralize. Keep it one tone in the hair there. I'll just darken that a little bit. Get rid of these hairs. So what I'm doing with the healing brush now is just sampling from an area that's clear of other hair and drawing over it. I'm going to do that here too. So now we can see it's just cleaned up a little bit. It's looking a lot smoother, a lot nicer. Still has the texture. It's really key. Keep that texture. If it looks like it's too much texture for you, go ahead and smooth it out. Experiment. It's the only way to really get a feel for what your style is going to be. Just mess around with it. I'm going to smooth that out a little bit. We're still holding on to texture, but maybe just not quite as much. She's starting to look really nice now. Get rid of these stray hairs. Gonna get rid of that neck wrinkle. Can't have any wrinkles in the neck, so get rid of that. Clean up these hairs. Facial hair, it's one of those things. Everybody's got it. Nobody wants it. So just clean that up. It's like nose hairs, You really gotta, especially on girls, nobody wants to have chin hair, even if it's blonde. So just get rid of it. Clone tool's the easiest way. Set your brush to a hardness so that it's gonna leave the edge as if it was just softly out of focus. I'm dodging this out here. You could also clone it out or use the healing brush. Get rid of it. My preference generally is to try things with the dodge and burn first. And if I feel like it's taking too long or that it's not giving me the results that I really want, then I will either go to the healing brush or the clone stamp next. Those are really your three main tools in skin retouching. I don't think I really use anything but those. So just take that out. Sort of reshaping the whole area here when we take that out. We're changing the emphasis, changing where the light hits, while holding on to the actual shape of the anatomy. We don't want to change our bone structure, we just want to change the way the light's hitting it. So here we're darkening this area to make it look like it's lower. See, her neck was a little bit scrunched up. Her chin was kind of forcing into her neck a little bit. So we're just changing the shading so that doesn't look like it's so forced. Same with this area here. Her neck's a little tense, so we'll just soften it. Can we move around and make these subtle changes? When you do subtle changes like this, it really builds up to something more dramatic than when you just go in and gut areas out. I tend to think of it a lot like charcoal drawing. You're building up areas, erasing areas, building them up again, smoothing them out, making fine lines. Just drawing till you feel like it's where you want it to be. You've got lots of tools to work with. Get rid of those hairs. I didn't like those. So now those are gone, and it's looking a lot better. Yeah, much better. Now we've got the emphasis on that big piece hanging down. It's very glamorous looking. I'm going to darken those lashes. Her lips are kind of dry, so we might want to soften that out. I'm just using the healing brush, but you can also use the clone stamp. Again, hold on to the texture, just smooth it to the point where it starts to feel really balanced. You want to keep some lines, but you don't want it to look chapped. That looks a lot better. And this type of skin retouching, it works on all different size files. These techniques are the techniques that you're going to be using whether you're retouching your home photos, whether you're retouching extremely high-end photographs or medium format. These are the techniques that you can use across the gamut. So it's really good to get a handle on them. If you want to retouch your wedding photographs, if you're going to be working on billboards, all formats, these are the techniques that are going to give you the best results for holding on to really natural looking skin. So you just work around the image, burn and dodge, a little bit at a time. Your goal is an invisible effect. You want it to look flawless. You want it to look like this person was just born that way, that this photograph was just taken absolutely perfectly. You don't want it to look retouched. We just fix this little area here where the light's hitting her collarbone. Blend it in.